All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the SBP. We're in here with a quick cut for you. We're going to talk for these few things NBA, and we're going to get up out of here because we know you got things to do this Sunday. As always, I'm your boy Prime Source. Was good.
Brian, what's going on, man? It's a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. I think it's beautiful outside. It looks like it's nice. I see the sun is shining crazy.
Yep.
And yeah, man, can't complain.
I mean, it's good. It's good. It's always a good time it's a good day when you wake up, and it's always a great day when it's this sunny outside. I was just telling Nicole, I was like, look, it's nice out here, but I'm scared to go out because I don't want to spend no unnecessary money. On a nice day like this, I be done it.
Exactly.
Spending mad loot on drinks and stuff that we already have in the household, probably eating, and we got plenty of food in that. So I'm going to try to contain myself and not go out there unless I got to run to the car or something. But
Right.
there's a couple of WNBA games and stuff on, so maybe that'll keep me in.
True that. That's a good point. Excuse me. Today, I'll just throw this in. Today, well, yesterday, I should say, was my wife and my 23rd wedding anniversary. So
Word up.
shout out to the wife. 23 years of dealing with me.
Congratulations to you
That's a
two
lot of
again.
years. She wild for that. She wild for it. But anyway, yeah. So 23 years. So yeah, that's always dope. We did some stuff together yesterday, running around and eating and all kinds of randomness. So
All right.
hopefully today is a little calmer day. She got some grad parties, so I think I'm gonna be chilling for most of the day while she has some graduation parties.
Okay. It is that time. It is definitely that time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And there's also a time that the Heat probably pushing the panic button right now. The Miami Heat are down 3-1. And this thing just doesn't look good for them whatsoever. They have to attempt to do in this series what Boston attempted to do in the previous series to them when they failed. How you feel about their chances, man?
Well, the good thing is you have Jimmy Butler, who actually in the press conference the other day, he was like, "We still can go out here and do what we came to do, win." I'm not mad at him. I mean, that's how Jimmy does. That's how Jimmy do. He has not lost no confidence regardless of what's happened in the last two games. So that's good to see. And of course, there's always a puncher's chance of getting a dub in game 5. It's gonna be tough though, bro. It's gonna be tough. You got Denver, who hasn't won a championship before, trying to close out. They get the closeout game.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm.
It's gonna be kind of wild. Where are we? Are we 2-3-2? Or are we 2-1-1-1? I don't even remember.
2, 1,
Good.
1, 1, I believe, or
Is it
2,
1
1.
1? So we in Denver this week? Yeah, we're back to Denver. Okay, so
Back
it's
to
1 1. Yeah. So yeah, the place is gonna be rocking. The place is gonna be rocking.
Got a chance to do it in a building.
Dog, they're gonna bring out. Let's see. They're gonna bring out John Elway. Uh, who? Dante Bichette, I guess. I don't know who they gonna bring out. They gonna bring out Terrell Davis. They bringing out a little bit of everybody. Might get Peyton Manning back in the building. Russ gonna be there. It's about to get star studded like a Los Angeles Lakers game.
Alex English, like everybody.
Yeah, I saw
Everybody
Alex
coming
English.
back.
Is Kiki Vandeweghe okay? Is he still in these streets? I think he is.
I believe he is. I don't
He
remember
should be.
anything
He
about
should
him
be pulling up.
being
Then
with
he
us
should be
anymore.
pulling up. Where's Michael Adams? Bring out Michael Adams, bro.
Oh, got Michael Adams, yo.
Dikembe, bring out Dikembe. Everybody coming.
Wow, yeah, it's crazy. If they can close this thing out at their residence. But we got to wait till tomorrow night. Like, it seems funny not having a game again on a Sunday. No
Yeah.
NBA. So we got to wait till tomorrow night to see if that happens, man. But what did you feel about that Joker and that Murray both getting them triple doubles in the same joint? That's crazy.
I loved it, and I loved that Murray got that last rebound because I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna get it on the play before that
Mm-hmm.
when Miami missed, and he ended up trying to tip the ball
Right.
away and didn't get the 10th one. I was like, man, he might not get it, and then a few seconds later, he got that 10th rebound. The numbers are crazy. Like, there's nothing you can say bad about the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something that you expect or you see from Murray on a regular basis. Joker, like it's gonna happen. You know, Joker's always around a triple double.
Right.
Uh, that's always a possibility, but not for Murray. But for them to do it in the same game, that's a little bit of what they call domination.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Um, what thing that impressed me the most, I would say, about Denver in that last game was that stretch of 5 or 6 minutes or so that the Joker was out due to foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And he went out. What were they up to? 10 or 11, I believe, when he went out of the game. They were still up 9 when he came back. You know what I'm saying? They were able to stave off Miami's runs, who for a minute looked like they might be able to really do something. But there was always an answer. That was a Murray answer. That was a KCP. That was a timely play by my man Aaron Gordon that would always stretch that thing back right after. In most cases, when Miami would actually make a bucket. So I was thoroughly impressed with the way Mike Malone's team came out there and was able to contain it with the big man having to sit because of foul trouble.
Love it, man. Love to see it. This Denver team, this kind of speaks to, even though everything is year to year, teams are year to year pretty much, but this does speak to how injured Denver has been in the last couple seasons. Like,
Yes.
people are like, oh, they didn't make it to blah blah blah. Yeah, they didn't make it because, or I'm sorry, the Joker won the MVP and they didn't make it, but so far. And I'm like, they didn't make it because people was down. They were down
Sure.
people. Like it's not like they were fully staffed and just lost games or
True.
lost in playoffs or lost to bad teams. But you see this season, you're seeing right now, what could have been, what might have been if they had been able to stay healthy. These last couple seasons might have went a different way for real.
I think a lot of people feel that way when they really get back and think about the state of this team, with the people that actually went down. That was a great point. I continue to bang the drum, especially in this game. It adds a lot of relevance to what I mentioned earlier. I think every team needs an Aaron Gordon. Um, Aaron Gordon doesn't always have to score the 20 some odd plus points to be effective. But in this one with the 27 and the timely plays, the timely rebounds, diving for the loose balls, he was just everything for this in this particular game. And I think if you look at it from one side, and so you know what, his scoring's a little down in the playoffs by about 3 points from the regular season. But that's just because he's concentrating on doing what he needs to do in other ways to help make them successful.
Right.
But he was due for a game like he just had. You think about a guy, and you talk about these past seasons when Denver's had these injuries. They made a trade for him, I believe, to try to offset what they were losing with Grant when they lost Grant.
Right.
And you look at what he's done. Do you know his highest field goal percentage when he was back in Orlando, which was not bad, but was at 45%. All 3 seasons that he's been, here with the Denver Nuggets, he shot 50 or more, including 56% from the floor this year, which is his highest in his career. So I think every team, especially every good team, needs an Aaron Gordon. And you saw the other night why I made the comments that I did. I just thought that at some point he would be really key in this series.
Absolutely. And that's great coming from somebody who's probably, like, if you listed who you expect buckets from or who you get scoring from, he's probably 4th.
Yeah.
He could be 3rd to somebody, and
Right.
and I could understand it, but he's probably 4th, maybe even 5th, sometimes, really. So for him to explode last game, when other things may not have been working as well for everybody else, was big, and you think back to him being in different places, and you would always get a couple games. Like he'd score pretty consistently, but you'd always get a couple games where you go 30 plus, or you just go crazy with a double double or something like
Mhm.
that. Um, so to see that in the moment when it was needed, I mean, that was perfect.
Indeed, indeed. So for the Heat to get back in this thing, what do you think they need to do?
They need a remix with Jesus and Jay-Z. Um, they I don't know what to tell them. They better call somebody. Tyrone. I don't know who they gonna call.
Who's got Jeff
Ghostbusters.
Bridges? I mean,
Uh, Wonder Twin Powers activate. Something got to give, especially in Denver, man. I know they won game 2 in Denver. I get it. Um, but that was different. That was different in a lot of ways. And I figured, I mean, saying they didn't get swept, Miami didn't get swept is cool. Like they won that game in Denver, like I said, but the difference in Denver and Miami, when we might have expected if Miami was going to get one or two, it would have been at the crib. And for Denver to handle people like that, I think we're in a different place right now. I think we're in a different place right now.
yeah, I think what has to happen is that the three's just gonna have to fall. They're gonna have to get hot like they did a couple of games ago. The threes are gonna have to fall. And another key component, you mentioned the game that they won was a game 2. They actually got to the free throw line 20 times in that game. Other night, would they get there 2 times the entire game? Right?
Hmm.
They actually had to get to the free throw line because when they won that game in game 2, they went 18-20 from that. So that's points. They're generally a good free throw shooting team, especially if you can get Jimmy to the strike. But
Jimmy.
overall, they just fighting against a better team. But that's how they get back into it. So the end is off in this. Do you expect this thing to go ahead and end tomorrow, or Sports Squad got another one? Then
Yeah, I think it might. I mean, I wouldn't be completely surprised if Miami could come in and muster up one more win, take it back to the crib, and then lose in Game 6. But I don't expect it. I expect Denver to come out with guns blazing at the crib. They're gonna have all the intangibles going their way at the crib. The momentum, if you're into momentum, um, the fact that it's a closeout, first championship, all that. I think all those things together create a place where Denver handles business and ends this thing in 5. Joker for the MVP, of course.
indeed, I'm picking Denver to go and end this thing off tomorrow. Even though both you and I were wrong, I believe.
Yeah,
I
on
think we had in the
game
last
2.
game. Yeah, we were both wrong. So I don't know. Maybe we're giving them luck and giving them hope for another one. But I'm picking Denver to go ahead
It's
and
us.
end this thing to go ahead and finish it off here tomorrow night, and then it's on to the off season. So we'll see what happens in that particular one. But man, oh man, a lot of people been watching the series. I think the viewership is up a little bit more than what people thought, at least for the first couple of games, especially after Miami won the second game. They said things shot up definitely in game 3. But yeah, I think I'm sticking with Denver to go ahead and knock this thing out tomorrow and let's move on.
Shout out to Jeff Green, yo.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Shout out to Jeff Green, the long forgotten Jeff Green. Just, I go where I go and I do what I do.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I remind you, yeah, I'm still here when I need to. So,
Yep.
yeah, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. The other big thing that happened in the league, and of course, was your boy CP3. So, Chris Paul, we got to figure out where his next stop is going to be because they made it known that they are about to be done with him. At first, I heard that he was going to be, released outright. Then I saw that they were talking about maybe they try to find a trade for him. I don't even know how that would work as far as the whole trade thing right now. And the guy at his age, but from what we understand, at 38 years old, he still wants to play basketball. So these are the teams that have been floated out the most. I mean, really only a couple of these have actually been floated out. But these are the things that have come up on the internet here lately. So do you see a good fit with any of these teams or any of the teams that are not even up here?
First of all, there's no way this man goes back to the Clippers. There's no way. No way, no how. Ain't no way. Ain't no way he going back to the Clippers. That's not happening. That's not happening. The one I haven't even really thought about this, like at all. But just seeing him in that Bucks uniform makes such great sense to me. Uh Man, that would be tough. That would be tough. I like that one. I don't care anything about the Boston one
Mhm.
because Tatum and Brown need the ball. They need the ball in their hands the whole time, for real. And I don't see him going to Boston and being the thing that changes them personally. That's my opinion. Lakers, him and LeBron always talked about playing together and you're trying to get the banana boat crew, but now Carmelo's retired. Uh, D Wade retired. So I guess that's not a thing, but they can do half the banana boat crew. You know, it's possible. I wouldn't be mad if he went to LA. I'm not really against that. Of course, I would have rather him have been there back in the day when David Stern said, "Nope, ain't happening on my watch." Uh, but if he did come to LA and went to the Lakers, I wouldn't be mad at it. But yeah, that Bucks looks good to me. That Bucks looks good to me.
Yeah, I can see the Bucks thing because, like I was telling one of the homies, I said, look, what you do is, Holiday can go back to the two, and a lot of people seem to forget that, not just early in Philly, but when he was in New Orleans, he played at the two a lot.
Yeah,
Based on who the point guard was there, so he's done it. He's done it. So yeah, if you bring him in, if he's content on still being a starter, and which we would think even at 38 and his ego, he probably still would want to be a starter. You can bring him in, and then you move Drew over to the two, and you just go from there and just see what happens. The Boston thing, a lot of people, I know you don't like it. I was talking to Didge and Joel, who we've had on this show a couple of times already. Uh, they didn't believe it. Neither one of them told me that they could see it. But I am of the belief, as I told you, that I think, especially if you are going to keep Jaylen Brown, I think you gotta. Me personally, I think you gotta get somebody that can get them in position. I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced that both of them, especially Brown, needs to have the ball in their hands as much as they do, as far as getting everything orchestrated and set up. If it comes to that, I much rather it be Tatum, but I think they need a true point guard to actually help get them in better position and then take some of the stress off of them of having to create all the time when you got a guy like Chris Paul who could help them create and get them in position. So I'm not as against it as a lot of people are. I think it could happen. The Clippers thing, I'm with you. I don't really see the Clippers thing, but the one thing we got to remember is I do believe they got to figure out if they're bringing Westbrook back.
true.
I didn't look at that, but I think his contract is done. I think with just that year, I believe, and I could be wrong. I'll look it up after the show. But they still got to figure out what they want to do with Westbrook. I definitely don't see the two of them on the same squad. Um,
Right. Yeah,
um,
that ain't no need.
I think he'd be a good fit for your guys. Other teams that's not up here now, if he's willing to sign with a team that's definitely not going to contend, then there's a lot of teams, and especially if he's willing to take less playing time. You know, I don't want to speak for the man, even though I would think that he still wants to attempt to start. Then I can see a couple of teams, and it might sound crazy. Um, People are throwing out New York. I don't see it, but if he's willing to take less playing time, and depending on what that money would look like, maybe. I'm not rooting for it. But I give you a couple of teams. Atlanta. I think a team like Atlanta, whether or not Trae Young is on that roster or not, I know it's a totally different position, but I'm just saying. I think with the players that they have and the youth that they have, if he's willing to go to a team like Atlanta, that's not going to be a contender just per se. Um, I think he fits quite well with them, and I also think that he could fit well in a lesser role with a team, believe it or not, like Cleveland. I think that they could actually use his leadership with, with a lot of those youngins there, and then seeing him on the court, you know what I'm saying, with a couple of those guys, I think it really work out. You can see a nice 3-guard set going there. But I think if you look at a couple of teams that people are not thinking about, I think those two would be teams to watch. I think Cleveland would be a little more attractive to me than Atlanta would, though.
What about Chicago?
If he's willing to go somewhere to a team that's definitely not going to contend, because they're going to be. I think they're already looking at trying to make some moves with a couple of their key players now. So I'm not even 100% that they're going to look anything like they did last year when it comes to the makeup of that team. You got like 3 guys on that squad that have all been in trade talks, leading through last year. So, and they all major players they could be really good players for other franchises. So I don't know. So, it is what it is. So we're going to see what happens with that. And I think Phoenix is not Phoenix either, because we're starting to see other names pop up, especially DeAndre Ayton. So I don't think Phoenix is done either in the moves that could be made with that particular franchise. So going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. And real quick, I didn't think about this. Would you really? We both agree about this Clippers thing. I definitely wouldn't want him to go back, even with our Westbrook, because I'm sitting there thinking, man, you talking about trying to keep my man's PG and Kawhi on the court.
3 up.
How you try to keep this man on the court? You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if we're trying to see that. So
more disappointment.
Indeed. Indeed. So we shall see what goes down with that there. I don't know if it's going to be a quick resolve or not, but we will find out. Anything else you got for the people?
Well, actually, let's see. I had a hip hop question. It's not even a hip hop question. It's actually an R&B question. It's a versus question.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a clip yesterday of Mary J. Blige being interviewed, and somebody asked her if she would ever do a versus, and she said no. And she had Mary, her response was Jay-Z level. Like when Jay responded to the question, and he was like, "I can play blah blah blah," and can't nobody stand up here beside that. Mary said, "I can put the What's the 411 album on and walk away." I was like, "Yeah, Mary, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you for saying that."
Monet, all that,
But my question is, if Mary J. Blige was to do a versus, who do you think would be a good opponent for her? Also, because I'm probably going to just do a bootleg versus with Mary J. I'm probably just going to do a bootleg versus. And I want to know who the people think would be a good matchup for Mary J. Blige. 20 joints.
Ooh. Man, that is a good one, because I felt like before, when Versus was really popping and we were looking for the next one, I felt like at one time I had somewhat of an answer. And now I don't remember exactly who it was, but thinking about it, oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know if is there a female artist? Of course, there's female artists in history that are great, that have joints. But if we're talking about the proper fit, and you're gonna go toward the joints, I don't know if there's a female artist. You know what I'm saying?
I do. A lot of people said that. I actually asked this yesterday. I
feel like at some point I came up with somebody I think would make it a nice versus. I don't know if it's challenging, but I'm trying to think of who it was. But I don't know. Now it could be a couple of males if they wanted to go that route.
Such as?
Well, I'm gonna give you one, because we're obviously not going to get what we want. It seems like. And some people are gonna think I'm crazy, and some people are not. But we know the ultimate matchup that people wanted to see on the male side was they wanted to see Chris Brown and Usher, right? I would love to see Usher and Mary J. Blige do a versus together.
That's a good one right there. Nobody said that in the comments, and this
Mhm.
this joint got like 100 plus comments, and nobody said Usher. That's a good one. That's a good call.
Somebody got
That's
what's
a
up? It's
good
G
call.
Money. G Money. Yeah, if they want to run it back and bring somebody else on, Badu is my lady. I think they had the perfect matchup already with Miss E.
Yep.
Uh, her and Jill Scott were made for each other. To do that, and that was dope. And I wouldn't even mind have seen that. Even that was when it was still kind of in its rawest form too. I would have loved to have seen that a little bit later as well. Not that I didn't enjoy the first one,
Right.
a little bit later as well when they had ironed out a few things. Um, I think I think Usher and Mary J would be a fire versus.
I like that one, Prime. I like that one. That's a good call.
Yeah, so um, we'll see. I mean, you don't have no thoughts, and you got a female, you say?
Well, I don't know that anybody matches up well against Mary because of her style and
Mm-hmm.
then her longevity. It's hard to match. It's hard to match. People have said Mariah, Tony Braxton, Beyonce. Somebody said Keisha Cole. Multiple people said Keisha Cole. I was like,
I don't
what
want to see
planet?
Keisha no more. I don't want to
What
see
planet are y'all on? How would that happen?
Did y'all see
I
the
seen
last thing that happened?
right,
That was a
exactly.
mess. The Keisha
I've
Cole
seen
joint was a mess.
yeah,
Hey, G Money in here said, see, I'm gonna tell you what the problem with that. G said, Missy. So here's your first problem before we even dissect it, right? Missy ain't gonna do it.
right.
Missy has said, she's adamant that she does not want to do a versus, and I know some people had different thoughts about it. I don't know if you were on the same page with me, and I don't remember, but I actually thought I would have loved to see her and Buster go at it. I thought that would be great, especially because they got so much love for each other and
Right.
the type of energy that we could get from that versus. And I remember her, Timberland was trying to get her on the line while they had Buster on live.
Hmm.
And Buster, Buster being Buster, he was walking through the hood. He was telling, I don't know if it was Spliff or somebody, yo, bring me one of them Heinekens. Bring me. But he was walking in the corner store. He was out there in the street. He was out in the streets. And he said, yo, my sister, my love. And they managed to get Missy. She didn't come on the live, but she ended up in the comments. And so it's going to take some working to get Missy to do a versus, period.
I'm still of the idea that Missy, like Virginia, this needs to be Virginia's claim to versus solo joint. Same way D'Angelo did the solo
Mm,
joint. Missy needs to do a solo versus and then drop in a few guest appearances on that joint.
that would be
That
fire.
would be fire. Yeah.
That would be fire. So interesting. All right, about to get out of here. I do want to send a quick shout out to the Minnesota Lynx WNBA team. 25 years they celebrating this week. They've had the other night. They had a lot of the old players from the past come through. Simone Augustus, Maya. She came through. Ton of people showing love to them. I think they'll continue the celebration today. I think they play New York today, but that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But
That's not a problem.
if New York is on the A game, they've been up and down. But shout
Yeah.
out to them, man, for championships, man. Definitely historic, man, and much love to the women's game and the Minnesota Lynx.
Yes, sir. New York could actually be on a C game and still beat the brakes off Minnesota. Minnesota got one win this season. It ain't pretty. It ain't pretty.
No doubt, no doubt. You guys be on the lookout for the next Running Back. We will be recording soon our next movie. If any of you guys in the group or on my personal page, you saw that I brought up the movie Brown Sugar. And there's a lot of reasons that we are going to do that movie. We are set to record that here shortly, so be on the lookout for that. And if you ever want to come through and join us here on this show, let us know. Hit us up. We can bring you on. Or if you decide you want to talk about a movie, we'd love to have you on Run It Back. So appreciate y'all. We'll see what go down, and we'll talk to y'all soon. We out.